My name is Noel Whelan. I've worked for 27 years now on anti and counter-terrorism in the field globally. So it's very interesting because leadership really comes into this, and how we lead tribes, how we lead people, our communities and our countries through difficult scenarios, difficult changes. So it all comes back down to leadership. But leadership is what's going to make the difference here. Through COVID-19, we've seen the difference between trying to manage the situation. As we've looked on the television, people are looking more to local people rather than to government people now, because they're confused and using the messages that they want to hear and not getting through in the way they want to hear them. And when they do get delegation, or for example, here in Australia, people are getting confused. You can open up, you can't open up, and then the police are having confrontation with people, and people are getting arrested, and people are very angry because of a miscommunication. But as we come out of COVID-19, how do we move our people, how we move our teams? Well, it's all about strategy. And as Robert Kiyosaki says, the business guru, he says, we've truly moved now from the industrial age to the information age. And the question is, if you're not moving now, you're going to struggle. You should have already taken the pivot already. But let's talk about this. As we move back into the workspace, we're going to have to really get through about a simple strategy. And all strategy should be very simple. It should be straightforward, and it absolutely makes sense. And we must make that purpose defined of what it is we're actually trying to do. Remember, when we're dealing with our teams as we go forward, as we've spoken to our teams over the last couple of months through COVID-19, we're actually dealing against fear most of the time. And that's where managers have to make the transition now from managers to leadership, to actually giving people that trust because of fear in the workplace. The amount of people I've spoken to over the last couple of months around the globe, and I say, what's happening your end? They say, we don't know, we're just frightened. And its impactive effect on the communities is quite interesting. Some people want to be completely away from people. Other people don't care. Other people like, I'm not really fearful. So the message is quite diverse. But what is fear? Fear is usually the default setting for people. Fear is the default setting for the unknown, and we have to deal with that as you come into our workplace. So I'm just going to share my screen. I've got a couple of pictures here I want to show you. So as we come here, navigate the COVID strategy, I think as managers and leaders, we really have to go back to old-fashioned leadership. And leadership is very much about communication. It's about trust. It's about, you can trust me. It's about focus and actions. It's about time frames and morale. It's about speaking to our people and getting that communication going. We have to overcome those fears of our staff. Now, another interesting factor that's going to come across is people want to live differently. So we have parents who've lived with their children and locked down with their families for quite a couple of months, vital staff to your business. And some of them are saying they don't want to go back to work. They realize they can have a good work-life balance. They can work at home. They might start looking for new jobs. They might start looking for new outputs for their skills. They might look for new work-life balance. So that tells us we're actually going to reach challenges when we come back into the workspace, because people are frightened of leading their families and having to return back to what we'd call a new normal. So again, good leadership, it's about communicating, having a vision for your team. It's about controlling the message. What is it you're trying to achieve? What were the messages you had before for your vision strategy for your company? What is the new message in the new normal? And what is the new normal? It's going to be changing. As I said, everything is going to be in a continuous state of flux. Communication, that vision, control the message. Also, we're coming back to new challenges in crime, as you've heard other speakers before me. Even Singapore, which is a fairly safe bet in international travel, has had more interesting in stabbings. It's had more crime-related events. Crime is starting to move more. Now, that could be for a number of reasons: less police on the street, more activity. We've definitely seen a huge rise in cybercrime in the post-COVID-19, because people are working outside the four walls in their homes. So again, we're going to have to get those challenges and lead through those coming into the workplace, because there are a lot of people carrying out these cyber attacks and making a lot of money. So the challenges of crime, challenges of I don't want to go back to work. We need to go back and look at our team blueprint pre-COVID-19 and where we are in COVID-19 now, and ask, what will the new blueprint be? Will we need new staff? Because when we go back to work, we're going to have more competition. How do we beat competition? We actually deal with that with techniques, tactics, and strategies. We need to be we need to be adaptive to the new scenario we're going to be finding ourselves in. As I said, people are going to be trying to recruit your staff. They're going to be looking for new technology, new technicians, and how we're actually going to navigate to keep our business going forward. And as Chris Phillips said at the start, bounce back ability is a great phrase to describe how you're going to get back into the workplace. So we call it arms in military terms, and policing and government terms, we call it arms. We need to have awareness. We need to have a relationship 360 degrees. So the key to moving your teams through this crisis and into the new transition, into the new normal, we have to have relationships 360 degrees. And this must be constant. We need to be able to communicate better. We need to be able to work with our staff better and get that trust going and dialogue going. Again, you need to make sure that you have yourself looked after as a leader. You need to make sure your health, your content, your new message is clear. You're delivering what you say you're going to deliver, and social awareness of what's happening around. Remember, people are going to be very influenced by other people's statements, what they see on the news, and maybe a lack of control. So it's also very important that when you look at, sorry, let's go to the next one, your vision. What is your mission? Your vision comes from your mission. How will you lead? You need a new vision for your COVID-19. What will your architecture, what will your infrastructure look like as you come into the new role? What is your new staff going to be faced with? Try and visualize now to make that plan. Again, you've got to execute your team recovery. Recover your team, bring them together. Now we have to ask ourselves, where is our team? How do we define our team? Is our team just the people in the front office? What about your accounts? What about your infrastructure, your control supply chain? All those are part of your team. We can't isolate individuals. We need to bring them together and have more talks to bring confidence back to your team. And you need to be an inspirational leader now, even more so than ever. People are looking for inspirational leaders who know how to talk, can be trusted to tell the truth, and be transparent. Again, as we move forward, if we don't do that, what's going to happen is we're going to move into this phase, which is uncertainty. And as we see here in this little picture, I love this one. It's a herd of sheep leaving a stall. There's no fence, but everyone's just running because they're in panic. The trap of thinking. Again, if you are going back to work and people are sitting there looking at going, what's going on, what's happening, you're losing. You're already losing. You need to act and not react as much as possible. So as we're moving forward, we need to remember that we have a vision, and that vision means mission, objectives, execution. I left it all as one word in one big chunk because it shows that we need to navigate our people into a new area. People are going to be nervous. People are going to be scared. There's new technology coming in. There's, from the last speaker, there's new ways of looking at things. We need to make the information step to the information age, away from the industrial age now. So when we look, we have to ask ourselves, how are we going to navigate our teams? And it comes back to, again, communication, transparency, and actually innovating. But this also represents a fantastic time for you, us, all over the world to really start innovating now and look at our efficiencies and move forward. But again, it comes back to a reevaluation of your vision, a new mission, objective execution. And again, when you make promises, keep your promises. Always keep those promises. You've got to talk to your team that when they speak to you, they know they're speaking to you and you serve their best interests. Again, you've got to share hardship with them. Again, there will be hardships, but you've got to look towards it. You've got to look towards peace and stability within your team. If you have a happy work life, you have a happy family life, and they both complement each other. Again, know your own limitations as a leader. You will take the transition between managing the processes, and leadership. Keep your eye on the horizon. Again, make loyalty the prime virtue of your company, and it will be rewarded. It's important that your staff know they will be rewarded for loyalty, because people will not want to go back to work. People will be charmed by other offenses of other companies, and that affects your bounce back ability, as Chris would say. Again, make firm rules and make them clear, and get real. You must get real on your leadership now. So if we're waiting until the first day back, it's no good. We need to be speaking to our staff now. We need to be communicating. We need to be communicating and building that trust up and put them into a sense that they want to go back to work and they're looking forward to it. And the challenge is where we bring on great innovation. Again, we need communication and visual orientation around the office. For safety, we need to have the gloves, the protection, the staff. You know, keep them away from the television and the media propaganda selling fear, because that's what sells newspapers, and keep them into your own reality of protecting each other. Again, Make the interest of your companies your own. Employ the best people where you can and comply to law. Again, element of surprise. If you're a good leader, you're a good tactician, a good strategist, you can take the competition and you can use this time to win and dominate your business space. Again, cultivate humility, plan for success, inspire your people, know your limits, be transparent and trust, and guide your teams. The most important factor here is a great time for leadership. Inspire your teams to be the solutions to problems. And that is how you're going to motivate your people. It's back to good old-fashioned leadership. Let's talk, let's speak, let's communicate, let's commune, and let's liberate ourselves and go forward into the new normal. Again, if people are sitting there on day one or before they go back, what are we doing? I don't know. Nobody tells us. That's a big failure in the half of leadership. So again, Chris, it's new reevaluation of your vision, what's your mission statement. People are emotional creatures. When we give them emotional leadership and say how much we care about them and the challenge of going back with excitement, they will follow you to the ends of the earth. And that's what I'd like to say about moving your team forward.
Thanks, Noel. That's very concise, very sharp. Now you have it down in 6-7 steps. You have a leadership course for leaders.
Yes, yeah, we have it's called the Championship Formula. It's 7 steps where you can achieve your greatness for your team. This is not philosophical. This is a highly skilled and well-learned concept of 27 years of leading men and women around the world to do some very complicated and risky maneuvers. So it's called the Champions Formula, and you can contact Q8 yourself, Chris, as I've been delivering workshops with you a long time, to give you skills and abilities to lead and to really punch above your weight in a series of actions rather than years.
Right.